The island of Sodor, a little patch of land that sits within the Irish Sea just off the English coast, known throughout the world for its rugged scenery and idyllic lakesides, but more famously known for its railway, the North Western Railway. We've been called the world's largest heritage railway as our fleet consists primarily of steam engines and outdated diesels. Every year, thousands of people flock to the island to see us vintage engines as we bustle up and down the line, hauling trainloads of passengers and freight, and work the docks, yards and quarries shunting trucks. Truly, one man can be credited with the success of our railway, Sir Topham Hatt, better known as the Fat Controller, whose steadfast leadership and dedication to railway preservation has kept our line running well into the 21st century. But it wasn't always like this. Indeed, there was a time before Sir Topham Hatt, before we were known as the North Western Railway. Back then, Sodor, like all British railways, was very, very different. At the turn of the last century, Britain's railway system was a chaotic mess. This was in the days before nationalisation, and as a consequence, railways sprouted up all over the country. Around this time, there were more than 120 different railways across Great Britain, sometimes 2 or 3 servicing the one region, and Sodor was no different. There was the Sodor and Mainland Railway, the Wellsworth and Sudbury Railway, and my group, the Elsbridge and Knapford Railway. As one might expect of 3 rival companies forced to share the one island, there was intense rivalry between us over the rights to the various freight and passenger services. Our animosity was reflected across all of Britain. By the early 1910s, because of the sheer diversity of companies and the intense rivalry between them, railways were fast becoming unprofitable. Such was the fate of the Sodor and Mainland Railway, which closed in 1914. That same year, World War I began, and the entire might of the British Empire was geared towards supporting this great and terrible conflict, including the railways, all of which were placed under government control. Throughout this bleak 4-year period, the trains ran with unprecedented efficiency, delivering troops and supplies where needed. Everyone observed the benefits of centralised control of the railways, and after the war, there was renewed interest in nationalising them. In 1922, Parliament passed the Railway Act. While not quite nationalisation, it did serve to condense the number of companies throughout England from 120 to 4. These were the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, the Great Western Railway, the Southern Railway, and the London and North Eastern Railway. As their name suggested, the Big Four controlled territory based on England's geography. Unfortunately, this proved to be somewhat problematic as Sodor was awkwardly positioned between the lines of the LMS and the LNER. Since both sides had a valid claim to the island and were unwilling to back down, with a special dispensation from the newly created Railway Board, both companies were allowed to operate on Sodor. The Wellsworth and Sudbury engines were taken over by the LMS, whose director for Sodor operations was the unscrupulous Nigel Zorro. We of the Elsbridge and Knapford Railway were absorbed into the LNER under the direction of the stern but fair Jonathan Starr. As for the Sodor and Mainland engines, they spent their remaining years as privately owned industrial shunters before being retired from service. The following years on Sodor were very exciting as each side received an influx of new engines. Some were of new classes, others of new technologies. What didn't change was the rivalries, but at the end of the day, we were all there to do right by our railway, and our drive to accomplish this was never stronger than it was during the Great Depression. This is where I will begin. My name is Edward, and these are the stories of Sodor.